Hey guys, BellaRose here. Welcome to my channel. It is so good to be back. Thank you so much to everyone who watched my previous video about The Voice Nigeria, who left a comment. You guys are like, my goodness, you are so cool. But how are you really? Like, how are you? I don't want to pontificate too much, but how are you? If you don't want to tell me all what you're going through in the comments, that's fine, but think about it. Anyway, today's video, I want to share a few things that I learned from just courting. And of course, for people who have been following me on my Instagram, rather on my YouTube, you know that it's not like, oh, Bella is now married and she's all brand new and she's talking about relationships. I am brand new. But that's not the reason why I talk about relationships. Even while I was single, I used to talk about relationships and all of that because it was just stressful. But I think that it's my responsibility to let people know the things I experienced while I was courting that have really helped me in marriage. It's like nobody asked you, but I'm going to take it on anyway. But I mean, I just really want to share with you guys how that has helped me. And I think that even hearing from my sister, my mom, and a few other people, marriage counseling as well, it helped me to just make a good decision and help me prepare myself better for marriage. So I think number one thing is when people say marry your friend, they're not saying it because they are trying to be cheeky or because they are trying to be shady or because it is cool to say it. Friendship is the most important thing. I remember when I was single and every time they would say, marry your friend. I'm like, do I want to marry who I don't know before? I used to get so defensive. It's like, why would you be saying marry your friend? Do I want to go and bring somebody random and say I want to marry the person? But then, listen, it's so important. And I'm so thankful to God that my husband and I were friends first before we got married. And I say this because there are times when, I know it's like, how many months are you in marriage? I'm not even up to a year yet, but very close by the grace of God. But like there are times in your marriage that you're not going to be talking about love. Oh, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. When you are courting or when you're dating, there's a lot of butterflies in my belly. There's a lot of all those things. But in marriage, like you can go a whole day without necessarily feeling like talking about, oh, the butterflies in my belly. But it doesn't mean that you guys are not in a great place. Sometimes we are just cackling. Maybe we see something funny or we're just having a conversation and we are laughing so hard. And that's why friendship is important. I know when I was doing marriage counseling, one of the questions I was asked was, oh, why do you like your husband? Like, what makes you like him? I think that was the question. And I said, we have a lot of similarities. And I think it was his church when we did, but that was when this question was asked. And, the Pastor Dave, I remember, was like, friendship and compatibility is not only in the things that you both like, it's also in the things that one person likes that the other person will have to be interested in and will have to appreciate and like through the eyes of the person that they're with. That stuck with me. It stuck so much with me. And so now, I'm not rooting for Arsenal when they are playing sometimes, or I'm teasing them sometimes, or if we're watching a TV show, for instance, and my husband maybe is rooting for someone, I'm rooting for somebody else, and it's just fun. And this is what friendship is really about. And so you've got to be friends with the person that you're with, or look out for friendship in whoever it is that is in your life right now that you're thinking of maybe spending the rest of your life with. And so if you're not comfortable in silence with that person, if you cannot talk about anything else with that person, I think you need to look into it and start developing that. Secondly, talking about the serious stuff. You know how you have a friend and sometimes they do something that maybe hurt you or something that doesn't make any sense. And what is paramount for you in that moment is letting them know that they have messed up and you don't care how they feel about it. Not necessarily like you don't care, but it's just like you need to let them know that what they have done was wrong and maybe made you feel bad or something. In that moment, you don't necessarily care about the times when you guys laugh and all of that. If anything, you believe that you will get back there after you sort out this issue. And so you call out what they have done in that moment. That's how relationships should be, because that's how marriage is going to be. You need to talk about serious stuff. You can't tell this person, oh, you give me butterflies every day for 1 year. So you talk about serious stuff, politics. And I'm not saying, how they say we should be able to talk about the economy, not necessarily that, but you should be able to talk about issues that are not necessarily flowery, stuff that's not superficial. serious issues, how they affect you as a person, how they affect your partner as well. It's so important. Do marriage counseling as early as you possibly can, or get the book, or just read up on stuff and ask the person that you're with a few questions. My husband and I did that when we were courting. We just get online and search for random questions and topics that people have in serious relationships, and would ask each other, okay, what would you do in this situation or in this case? Or I would do this, now do that. I don't think that that's right. We're like, oh really, that's interesting. You sort of know where they are when it comes to certain topics. Projection is another thing I need to talk about. It's important for you not to allow what people say on social media have that much of an effect on you, because the realities are different. Don't let other people's insecurities, don't let other people project their insecurities, their issues on you as a person, and don't let that affect your expectation as well in the person that you're going to get married to. So you've got to be careful about the kinds of videos that you watch about relationships, comments as well, certain pages that are always talking about like just heartbreaking stuff. You've got to be very careful. Also, try not to idolize people. Try not to idolize people, especially when you don't know like the source of their relationship and their faith. Be careful not to let somebody project onto you what is not God's will for you. I mean, I think that they are good examples, and that's the thing. You can learn from people, but don't idolize anybody. That's my point. Let's not miss it, because it's issues like that that make people say stuff like, if a couple in Hollywood can divorce, then they don't believe in love anymore. They did not send you to idolize them in the first place. So please be careful. Learn from people. Have inspirations. I think that's a better way to put it. This person inspires me, not like idolize them and say, I want my marriage to be like this person. Nah, please, let's not do that. So number 4, I think I'm at number 4 now, right? Projection was number 3. Number 4 lesson that I've learned in marriage, and that I think I'm thankful that I sort of was exposed to when I was courting, is on the forgiveness topic. I'm going to do a full-on video later. I think I have even done one, but you know this thing, I was not satisfied with the quality. I'm like, I've got to do it again. When I was single, there was one advice that I kept hearing all the time, and it was marriage is a union of 2 forgivers. And I also hear people say, oh, in marriage, you have to overlook a lot of things. You have to forgive and just move on. Even if your husband offends you or whatever, you have to just, overlook it and move on. And when I was single, see me, if you watched that Pastor Dami Oluwatoyinbo's interview that I had, I talked about how I excused bad behavior. I'm thankful to God for my husband. My husband's an amazing human being, but the people I had encountered before, I was excusing bad behavior, and I'm like, okay, I'm preparing myself to be a forgiver. Now we overlook bad behavior. I was overlooking wickedness, right? And so I think it's important for us to understand forgiveness within the context of marriage. We need to understand what the difference is. In marriage, there are issues that you just feel like, you know what, even if you're not going to apologize the way I want you to apologize, or if I don't feel like I'm satisfied with your apology, I forgive you anyway, because I understand that you are sincere about what you have said, and you can have that conversation. But I think it's important to understand it while you are single, so that you don't become a footmat that somebody walks over. So understand that forgiveness and overlooking bad behavior are 2 different things. That's where I was going, sis. Forgiving someone because you love them and because you are working to make your marriage better is a lot different from overlooking bad behavior and enabling bad behavior. So you should know it now that you're single. I'm thankful to God that I did, because I think I even had to have that experience of just being naive and just turning that advice on its head to understand it and be like, oh, okay, this is actually what it means to forgive someone and be in a union of 2 forgivers, where the next person is even ready to apologize. And when you let them know how you feel, they are not afraid to say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean for it to happen that way, or I didn't mean for you to receive it that way. So I think it's so important. Understand forgiveness within the right context and not the wrong context, all right? Last but not the least, the union of marriage, the longevity of marriage is not something to be toyed with. The only way that I was able to understand it and just get it was based on the relationships that I saw around me, because of the kinds of counsel that I was getting, the sermons that were being preached at my church, you know, my mom speaking to me, seeing my sister as well, where you just know that this thing that you're entering is for life. The longevity of marriage is so important that you need to get it while you're single before you get into it. Like, you need to come to terms with the fact that there is no going anywhere, you know, because sometimes I think I'm just chatting with my husband sometimes and I'm just looking at him and I'm just like, bruh, we're in this for life. You know how it's like, you know that you are with this person for the rest of your life. You can't look at another person. You can never find another person more appealing. And so I think that that consciousness is something that you have to come to terms with as a single person. It's just the longevity of it. You know how it's like, maybe you're going on a trip, for instance, maybe you're going on a flight. It's an 8-hour flight. You cannot say you want to stop on the road and buy gala. You know, it's an 8-hour flight. You are going for 8 hours. Or perhaps you are going to school to study a 4-year course. You're going to be there for 4 years. There's no, please, I need 2 months of just alone time. You know, but like, understanding that and knowing that this is such a huge responsibility, and you need to sort of renew your mind every time, and you're like, yeah, I'm in this for the long haul and I've got to be happy about it. Even on days when I'm not feeling so great, I'm not going anywhere, fam. We're going to do crossword puzzles and, I don't know, eat biscuits and as much chicken and chips as we possibly can. But I think that is also something you need to come to terms with. Like, start imagining it and thinking to yourself, man, when I get married, bro, I'm not going anywhere. And start thinking about it. Start thinking about 10 years. Maybe start putting things within context. I think that that's a consciousness that you have to come to as a single person, such that when you enter into marriage, things just don't become a bit overwhelming for you. I hope that you understand this last point, because I'm trying to explain it the way that I understand it, and I have experienced it, and I am experiencing it. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, if you have any contributions as well, please leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.